I have a bone to pick with some of yous who like to complain that the Bible is boring. The only thing I have to say to that is, can you read? Or, mind you, some things are really long. That's besides the point. I'm not here to convince you. I'm here to talk about the stories that are clearly really juicy, okay? The ones that you're just choosing to forget. This story in particular has to do with a woman who married bare man, not her fault though, and also a snaky lying little man. And his name happens to be Judah. So in case you don't know, Judah is stuck to my lip gloss. So in case you don't know, Judas is one of Jacob's 12 sons. And I don't know if you remember Daddy Jacob, but he is low-key a very deceitful man, or used to be. But in today's age, some people might label him a snickety snake. And I'm not saying that snickety snakes run in Jacob's family, but you tell me, because you're gonna hear the story of Judah, and we gonna see. But also not, because we believe in breaking generational change. So if your mom's a narcissist, you don't have to be. You have the power to not be, but you likely are. I'm just joking. Another one of the sons of Jacob is Joseph. So that means that Judah is one of the brothers of Joseph. And I'm making that face because y'all know what the brothers did to Joseph. Y'all know. Or maybe you don't. But they're all snakes. They're also snakes. They sold Joseph into slavery because they were all jealous that he got a colorful coat and that he had a dream that they were going to bow down to him. But again, I'm not necessarily correlating all this snickety snake action to Daddy Snake, but I'm just making a point that Judah had a lot of snaky influence around him. So this is where the story of Judah starts, okay? Right after Judah finishes hanging out with his bros, you know, selling their brother into slavery and whatever, Judah moves to a new place and he even starts a family. He gets married and he starts a family. He has 3 kids, Onan, and Shelah. I don't know if I'm saying any of those right. But he's seemingly thriving. So when his eldest was old enough, Judah gave him a wife named Tamar. We're just gonna assume she's a baddie because she sounds like one. But then what had happened is that died. And so Judah gave Tamar to his second son, Onan. But you see, with the way that it was a little bit complicated. And essentially, I think that if Tamar and Onan made babies, it would technically belong to and Onan was not down for that. Mind you, I don't get it. What does it matter? But I guess it matters to some people. And he was not down. Essentially, he was like, I'm gonna lay down with the ting because she's a baddie, but I'm not gonna give her a baby. My pull-out game is strong. If you don't know what that means, I'm not about to explain it to you, but yeah. But God was not happy with this. God did not want him to do that. So on site, and he died too. I'm sorry, Tamar. 0 for 2. Honestly, it sucked for her. By that time, Judah promised that when Shelah was old enough, because he was still a youth, that she could have him, that they could be married and she could get the babies that she wants. She been waiting. 2 husbands down and she's still out here single. I would be cheesed. So yeah, obviously Tamar didn't want to be no predator. She was like, yeah, duh, I'm gonna wait. So yeah, time passed and Shelah grew older and Judah didn't give Tamar another husband. This girl is just waiting. Single, probably sexually frustrated, probably lonely, and at this time, Judah's wife also dies. Obviously, that made Judah really sad, and he grieved some time, and he made a comeback to reality, doing what all mans do. He went to a sheep shearing, you know? He sheared some sheep with the boys. So on his way to the sheep shearing, Tamar devised a plan because she was out here totally forgotten about. Essentially, she made a plan to wait on the side of the street, just as a prostitute with a veil on. She waits on the side of the street for Judah, and like, you know, I don't even know what she does. Who knows? Maybe she showed her ankle. Maybe, you know, she did a little wink back. I don't know. Who knows what her game was? But because Judah was likely also sexually frustrated, he falls for it and he sleeps with her. But not without leaving her a little something. He says he's gonna pay her with a goat or something. But she says like, no, let me have some of your stuff and then you can come back and pay me and I'll give you your stuff back. But then she disappears. You think this is the snakery bit, but it's not. You think she robbed him. So 3 months later, she gets pregnant and she's the talk of the town. She is knocked up.
Who knocked up Tamar?
Who knocked her up? All her husbands are dead, apparently. So Judah obviously is like, this girl needs to be burned. She needs to be burned to the ground. And Tamar comes out with all his stuff and is like, whoever owns this stuff is the man who impregnated me. Which is crazy, because like if in today's age you slept with a man, his brother, and his daddy, that would just be crazy. But in the end, Judah uses it as a point of repentance and essentially says, wow, I've done wrong here. And he uses it to turn back to God, which is crazy because Judah seems like a snickety snake snake, and he seemed like a snickety snake from the jump, but it's cool that life circumstances really made him reflect. But yeah, it is confusing. The story's a little confusing because it's really messy, and isn't Judah supposed to be one of God's people? He was an Israelite. Mans have literally been a snake his whole life, like selling his brother into slavery, sleeping with a prostitute, not being a man of his word, and not giving her a husband when he promised her one, and then like trying to slut shame a ting for being a prostitute and whatever. But ultimately, I do find this story really cool because it shows how sinful and how flawed and how human Judah really is. All of us are like him in some sort of way, and still God had him be one of the people from God's chosen family who Jesus would come from. It's so cool because it emphasizes that God can work through messy situations, through flawed people, sexual sin and lies, and how he bends all of those things back to his will. All things are for good. So yeah, that's it. That's all I had. I love y'all.